Coach Jordan Beech, let's talk about lacrosse. Last year you came in with very little prep time for the team. Talk about last year going through the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference and your experience with the first year of the team.
Yeah, I came in, I had 3 weeks of the preseason to work with them and one scrimmage before we got into the season. And there's a lot of adjustment there. You know, I'm their fourth coach in 4 years, so obviously they're going to take some stuff away from every coach they've had. But once we got into the season, it was definitely a learning experience. It was our first one in Division II. And I don't think we were necessarily prepared mentally for the jump up in competition. I think physically we were ready for it. We just were that one step slower than we needed to be. And this year we've really worked on upping our tempo and really processing the field a lot better.
Got a lot of experience coming back this year. I think it's 9 seniors. Talk about the team makeup, the chemistry of the team this year.
Yeah, it's a very upperclassman heavy team. We got 9 seniors, 4 juniors, 2 sophomores, and 4 freshmen. And that senior class, you know, they've been through a lot. They honestly are the foundation of this team. They're really the ones that help make OBU lacrosse what it is. Paige Morrison, she's been a 3-year captain for us, and she's done a fantastic job. And then you also have Emily Gilbert. She's our other senior captain, and you know, she had a little bit of a slow fall. She had some injuries to get through, but she's back now, and you know, she's working back to fitness. But it's almost like she's never left. On defense, we returned 2 senior starters. We have Jamie Jefferson and Susie Wisham. At the attack, we have Sarah Anderson. She started nearly every game for us last year, but we also have those seniors who they came off the bench and they gave us quality minutes. You had Brianna Gray, Hannah Dow, Morgan Urich. You know, it's a very strong group.
Have to replace a goalkeeper this year that's been a big part of the team. Talk about who's going to fill in that spot this year.
I mean, it's always going to be tough to fill in a 4-year starter like Sabrina. But we have Courtney Barnacle, she's a freshman, and then we also have Katie Collison, she's a senior. Katie's really taken Courtney under her wing. Katie knows what I expect from my goalies, and Courtney's just been a sponge. Both of them have been very, very well adjusted to the college game at this point. Both had very strong falls, and so it's still a battle, but they're definitely pushing each other every single day.
Overall, defensively, maybe you weren't ready for that intensity last year that you bring. How's this team going to respond, do you think, this year?
You know, we've changed it a little bit. It's not an all-out attack like it was last year. It's going to be a little drawn back, but at the same time, I do want this team to focus on being aggressive and suffocating the ball carrier. We don't want them to have any room to breathe. We just want them to feel incredibly uncomfortable, and that's something that this defense is starting to take pride in themselves with. So it's not going to be easy to get by us.
Offensively, you know, in past seasons, there's been one player that stood out, and so it's kind of easy for the other defenses. What does the offense look like this year?
Obviously, Alexis Martin, she was back. She had a great freshman campaign, set the freshman scoring record, and she's added a lot to her game over the offseason. But at the same time, you know, Sarah Anderson, she does the little things really well. She's great at setting picks. She can score. Our midfield's very strong. They combined for about, I want to say, 50 goals last year between them. But, you know, they're ready to take on that additional role. They're not used to being the ones that aren't scoring goals, and they want to be that person. So it's going to be a little bit more free-flowing this year, but it'll be fun to watch. The fans are going to have a good one.
A lot of the fans of OBU have gotten a little familiar with the GAC. Talk about the RMAC and some of the teams there and some of the traditions and rivalries you're building.
Okay. Well, the RMAC is the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, and it's comprised mainly of schools in Colorado, but it also has a couple of members in Kansas City and in St. Louis, in Rockhurst and Lindenwood, and those would be our 2 main rivals. The conference itself is very competitive. They've sent somebody to the NCAA Final Four each of the last 3 years, and they usually have at least 2 teams in the top 20 every year. Rockhurst we got to play last year, and we were a little slow out the gate, but we tied them in the second half, and that's a good benchmark for us. They're one of those teams that we're going to be competitive with from day one. Some of the other ones, Lindenwood, they're a top 5 program. It might take a little bit more time to get up to that level, but that's what we're wanting to do. We're wanting to be in that elite class. We're not just going to go through the motions. We're going to run to win.
What are your some expectations and goals for this team?
The expectations, honestly, it's just to put your best foot forward this year. Our team phrase this year is fight, and we're going to fight for it. Not a lot's going to be expected out of us. The coaches poll hasn't come out yet, but when nobody really knows much about us, you can't expect a huge investment or a return on what that's going to say in the public sphere. But I'm really just expecting the team to get their head down, apply themselves, have fun with it on the field. I really want there to be a visible sense of joy on the field when we're playing. I don't want it to look like we're just grinding away. But it's all towards working to the ultimate goal of being in that top 5, top 10 in the country. We want to make OBU the best place to play lacrosse in the country.
Most other school programs at OBU have the NCCAA to fall back on for a postseason. How do you keep the girls, motivated with just a regular season?
I mean, we're still able to play for a championship. It's a regular season one, but it's still a trophy. And at the end of the year, our record's what we'll be judged on, but we're gonna fight for it. We're gonna try and shock some teams, and I honestly think we will. It's a very good squad. They don't like to back down. They don't like to give an inch. So the RMAC's going to be put on notice.
And finally, building a following in lacrosse at OBU has got to be tough. What have you thought so far of the fan support?
Honestly, I've been impressed by it. We averaged around 100 fans per game last year, so it's definitely something to build on. I'll go around town. I'm wearing an OBU lacrosse shirt, and you'd be amazed at how many people ask me about it. They just didn't know. And as soon as I told them about it, they've been really excited to want to see a game. And so I honestly think the support is growing. We got some great markets in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. The girls' game is growing at the high school level there. And so hopefully we can just really capitalize on that momentum and make OBU, honestly, the best place that you could play in the region. There's nobody in Texas that has varsity level lacrosse at the D2 or D1 level. There's nobody in Arkansas. We're it. And so I hope the fans realize that and they really come back and support our girls.
All right, Coach, thanks very much.
Thank you.